Alright guys, welcome back to Burning Rubber Garage. Hopefully in the last video you enjoyed the plastics being put on. This video, I'm here. We've got Jordan there. She's going to help me take this off. As you guys know, a couple videos ago we blew that rear tire. I think just age, it just worn out. Just isn't holding very much air, so we're going to have to get a new tire. I looked on the classifieds and stuff like that, called a few buddies. Nobody has a spare one laying around. Seems like on these 50s, people buy the tires, leave them on there and dump the bike, or just run them till they're like this, no tread. But should help with the height, everything like that. So we got to get this off, and I'm going to take it in. These guys have a good deal on a tire. I was going to do it myself, but they mount it for free as long as I bring it in off the bike. So it should be a pretty good deal. I think we're going to run a hard compound tire. I'm not sure on that yet. When I get in there, I'll take a look at it. We're going to definitely get a little thicker tube, which will be awesome. And then Frankenbike might actually get to go rip up and down the road again. So with that, let's go ahead and get some of these things loosened. I'll show you what we're going to do. Alright, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to break this axle free. And then we can go ahead and get these off, loosen them a little bit. Those should slide off. These are your guides. And then we'll work about getting the brake off. Looks like we've got a 19 on this side and a 14 over here. They can take a little bit of effort to break free. Once you get them in, you can just kind of spin it. Sometimes you're good enough to just, if it's not too rusted on there, you're good enough to just spin it like that. Once we got that there, the bike's supported, so we should be able to pull this axle through and almost everything should just fall. One thing you want to notice, we've got the guide. The other side's guide, we'll just push it through. Things are just going to kind of fall out of place. It's not what you want to do, but we're going to have to do it to get it out. So I've got the axle out. I've got the guide on the other side. The hub assembly coming off there. I'm going to roll this forward. The chain's pretty well seated on there. And just like that, we've got that guy out there. This spacer was on the other side, so when we put it back together, we're going to have the spacer there going into this. It kind of has a spot there for it, so it's actually going to sit into that. And then it just spins freely on that. We'll have the guide on the one side, guide on the other side, and then we'll get this brake. Maybe some of you guys haven't seen this. My hands are pretty bad, but when you push it there, it pushes those apart, and that right there pushes against this. Let me flip this over. Hopefully you can see down in there. You can see where the brakes rub and push against right there. It's all nice, smooth, clean. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. We'll slide that back on. One thing I want to do, now I might be wrong on this, but this is a 37. I would love to grab, I think it's less teeth. I want like a 34 maybe. And the other one I want to change out is up here. I would like to go, I think you go more teeth in the front, less teeth in the back. It takes away your low end, but gives you a ton more top end, which is what I would like to do. So if they end up having a 34 or whatever that will bolt to that, I'm going to do it. I might have to do a new chain too, but that's not a big deal. We can definitely do that. But I guess the next step on this one is to take this in, get a new tire. Poor thing. Holds air a little bit, but it just rides terrible. So yeah, I'd really like to upgrade that, but that wasn't too bad. Now me and Jordan are gonna have to figure out how to get this bike over out of the way so I can pull the Nova back in. I'm still not sure what brand tire I'm gonna go. Somebody recommended the Star Cross, which is what was on this. It seemed to hold up pretty good till it popped. Dunlop was another brand that was mentioned. There's a couple ones they were telling me about, but we'll go in and take a look at them, go from there. So when we come back, we'll maybe show you a little bit at the tire shop, maybe look at some of the options. I'll take my camera with me, and then we'll pick a tire and tube and go from there. I'm not sure if you guys watched the last video or not, but we just put the new sprocket in, bumped it up a tooth to a 15 from a 14. Now we've got our big surprise here. It's not a big surprise, you guys knew it was coming, but we got our tire. It's a Pirelli Scorpion MX 2.75 by 10. Good looking tread pattern. I think total with this tire was like 40. I think the tire was about 40 bucks. That include the install and everything. So And then we had a tube put on it. It's way too much pressure in there right now. As you can see, I'm pushing on it. Again, so we'll let a little air out of that. We're gonna go ahead and get this put on. So the chain's still dangling there. We got the brake ready to go. Should just slide right in, be ready to rock and roll. All right, so I got the tire sitting here loosely. I'm gonna go ahead, get this chain on, which means I'm probably gonna have to undo that. Get this spacer in here. It's gonna take some work to get all this in there. All right, guys, make sure you got enough room there. I've got the chain wrapped around already. I've got the spacer in. We're gonna line up the brake. I at least think we're gonna try and line up the brake. There we go. You can kind of feel it clip into place. Hold that there. Once we get this through. Trying to hold that and do everything at once here. It's working okay. Let's get this guy to go through here. We got that one through. Let's put that one through. We got the nut on there, so and just in looking at this, I can tell for sure we are not straight. They need to be sitting about like that. Just eyeballing it there, but it looks pretty tight though, so I'd like to see that whole axle slide forward just a little bit so we get a little bit of play in the chain. Like right about there would be perfect. When we put this other nut on, you're gonna have to do a little bit of eye in it. Cool thing is on this type of frame is it's pretty straight. I've got the tire going right down the middle there. Probably use just a little more adjustment. There we go. Bring this axle in so it's tight. Clamp down on that. Cool. So we've got the two guides. This side actually needs to go forward just a little bit. There we go. So what I've done here is you've got little hash marks over here. Let me make sure that's showing you what I'm looking at. Got little hash marks. You want to line this side up with this side. As you can see, this side's a little farther forward. Also, what you want to do is check your chain. We have a little bit of play, which is about a 1/2 inch of play, which I think is fine. We're also full droop on this too, so I think we're going to be good. So I'm going to get some bigger stuff on here, see if we can't tighten this up, and we will check it out. But that tire looks good. Should get us sitting up a little bit higher too, which is awesome. Let's see, brake steel is going to grab and engage. Once we crank that down, it should squish it all together. We've got our spacer in. Don't forget your spacer. Let's go from there. So I'm going to get this axle cranked down at least a little way so it's pulling it in a little bit, and then I can crank these down. They are a little bent, but they're still going to work for what we need. We got this on there. Brake seems to be working. What you're hearing rub is it's rubbing on the milk crate over here. If I run it on my fingers, you don't hear it rubbing. Got the new sprocket in there. We got the back on. We got this side at 2. I don't know, can we see that? It won't focus. But you got a little hash mark right there, lined up with the 2. And then again over here, lined up with the 2. So seems to roll pretty straight. So we are in good shape. Not a bad little install. I mean, I didn't do the tire, but it wouldn't have been too hard with the tube. I took a little air out of it. I angled the exhaust. I don't know why. It kind of looks cool like that. And I was hoping it would quit banging on this, which it seems to have fixed, but we're still hitting up there. I do want to raise the suspension just a little bit more and we'll go from there. But again, Pirelli Scorpion, I'll let you know what I think of it. I believe it was a Scorpion. Yep, Scorpion MX. It's not exactly the tire I wanted, but it works. We got just enough play in the chain. We should be okay. Might wonder if we want it just a hair tighter. I'd like to have gone a bigger sprocket out back too. A little smaller, I guess, out back, which would have pushed us clear to our limits. We would have had to have a new chain, I think, with that. So with that being said, guys, hope you enjoy this. I know we've done several videos on this bike, but it's getting so close, it keeps me going. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I hope we're at 500 by the time this gets posted. If so, thanks again for everything, and we'll see you on the next one.